Next, concerning the acquisition of new air defense systems, the latest generation of AT systems. Right now this is still in development, but we agreed that this particular development could be the first deployed in Ukraine and operate there. Ukraine already knows the characteristics of this system, but now there will be new, enhanced characteristics. And further, another step is the agreement concerning 100 Rafale aircraft with full armament. And this is an additional step after the aircraft had been delivered. Mirage 2M and training was conducted for Mirage 2000 pilots. Now a new step is the acquisition of 100 Rafale aircraft along with appropriate crew and pilot training programs of crews and pilots. So our bilateral cooperation will be strengthened, and we will also enhance the aspect of joint production in Ukraine, in particular, production of UAVs and drone interceptors. After this, we will have a separate event, a forum on UAVs, because it is a determinant. It is a determining factor for future success in the coming years. Today, we see how to utilize our combined potential for the benefit of Ukraine and Europe. Regarding the use of funds intended to support Ukraine's military and defense efforts, strengthening the integration of the European and Ukrainian industrial and defense bases, with clear criteria for European preference. Support for Ukraine's budgetary expenditures must be accompanied by strict conditions. This is how the EU can and must continue to provide Ukraine with predictable and stable long-term financial support. We will achieve this, including, if necessary, by seeking new ways how we have done this in other cases. So therefore, this is support for Ukraine, and it is a signal that we do not get tired. Europeans do not. We are also determined to continue strengthening sanctions against Russia in cooperation with the USA to weaken its ability to continue military actions. This also concerns the Russian Phantom Fleet, which will require significant efforts and deep reforms, in particular in the areas of the rule of law, transparency, rescue, and the fight against corruption. But I believe in the determination of the Ukrainian people to see these reforms through to the end, and I have confidence in President Zelensky that he will accomplish this. France will accompany this process with perseverance, diligence, trust, and openness, because a strong, democratic Ukraine integrated into the European Union will make Europe itself stronger. But I believe in the determination of the Ukrainian people to see these reforms through to the end, and I have confidence in President Zelensky that he will accomplish this. France will accompany this process with perseverance, diligence, trust, and openness, because a strong, democratic Ukraine integrated into the European Union will make Europe itself stronger.
Today our meeting adds to our protection, specifically such elements, ancient, practical, strong elements, prepared for youth, which are today signed into important documents about the significant strengthening of our defense capabilities. And firstly, Ukraine will be able to receive 100 Rafale F-4 aircraft, very powerful French radars, 8 air defense systems with 6 launchers each. This is a detail, perhaps a technical detail for someone, but for us, it is important. Each launcher is the protection of each life. This is very important. Missiles and guided bombs necessary for our defense. I want to emphasize the importance of this agreement. It is a strategic agreement that will operate for 10 years starting next year. We understand all the foundations of this agreement: political, financial, industrial. This is a historic agreement. It is very valuable.
Isn't such a decision made too late considering the current situation on the front in Ukraine? And also, perhaps to set a higher standard, aren't we from France today a co-belligerent side of Kobalgir?
No. Do you see how it surveys? In your question itself, you mentioned or someone said, it's too late. I believe this is exactly the right moment. You know that we have already used the Mirage 2000 and transferred them to Ukraine. And other countries have already transferred aircraft and components for aerial communication with water to Kyiv. So now all these components will mutually reinforce and enhance Ukraine's defense capabilities. And this is a very important component. The contract we signed today already fits into this. In a new moment of remuneration, there needs to be a Ukrainian army capable of distracting the European Union. And it is in this context that several countries, including Sweden, have done so with other capabilities. We signed these agreements with the aim of. That is why we have decided today how to reinforce Ukrainian forces with new means. We have increased our pressure on the Phantom Fleet, because today it is precisely the source of funding that needs to be cut off for this war. And we will continue to apply pressure, but we will continue in dialogue with the USA. And it is precisely this that helps us today to maintain our defense and make short-term decisions to transfer them. But what we decide for the long-term perspective, we must also do in parallel, because there will be no sustainable and lasting peace if we do not provide these forces of guarantee, provision, and strong military potentials. Because if Ukraine were a military power, this would not have happened in 2022.
Did you raise with Mr. President Macron the topic of reparations loan? I think, of course, yes. How far have the negotiations on this matter advanced? And can we say that the long-term promising agreement signed today indeed includes the use of these funds specifically for the purchase of military equipment? And of course, I can't ask you because the French colleagues promised, but for some reason, no. Is it enough already the measures taken so far to cleanse the management system of corruption? And what will be the next steps?
Thank you for the question. Firstly, regarding the funding in principle, President Macron mentioned this, that there are SAFE programs, there are ERA programs. SAFE is mostly used for co-production, and even in the program we are considering the possibilities for Rafale. If we are technically ready, then at some point co-production of these aircraft components accordingly. Yes, and for us, it is very important, just like co-production of drones, and we will use the SAFE program in this direction. Also, regarding frozen assets, yes, or reparation loans necessarily, we said that we would very much like, and we are counting on it. I believe that in the end we will be able to reach an agreement to push this topic, in order to use Russian assets specifically for the European defense package for Ukrainian production and mostly its air defense systems with the United States of America. Therefore, I think it is fair to use it for such projects that we are discussing today. Agreed with President Macron. As for whether it is enough, no, it's not enough. We will continue the relevant actions.